welcome to The Not So Traveling Introvert. Today I'm going to talk about expectations from multiple angles. I think that I've been speaking to a lot of introverts recently for various reasons. One, I helped someone do a book launch, a virtual book launch, and she was creating a book about introverts in the workplace, and we talked about the expectations that people have when you are at work and you say you're an introvert. People immediately, most of the time, will have an idea of what they think an introvert is and put that label on you, whether you want it or not. And it can mean different things to different people. To some people, it means you're shy. To some people, it means you're socially awkward. To some people, it means you can't be a leader or a manager. To some people, it means you're aloof. There's so many different things that people might assume based on this one word. And how do you go about changing or modifying those expectations that people have and to make things better? Just like sometimes when we might hear extrovert, we might think one thing, loud and gregarious, or they talk too much, or they're exhausting. We're all guilty of placing certain feelings or expectations when using one word or multiple words. And so you as a person are individual, and how do you go about setting expectations, other people's expectations about how you will react? How good are you at communicating your needs and your capabilities as a human and what can be expected of you? Do you assume that people know the way you think? For example, I had a client the other day and she asked for a report from one of her subordinates and she wanted the report to be done a certain way. And my question was, did you tell them? Did you give them an example? Did you have a pre-forma that they could fill out? Or did you just assume that they would do it the way that you wanted to? Because she was very frustrated that she wasn't getting the information she required. And she responded, well, I don't want to seem a bother. I don't want to treat them like they are a child. I should not have to go ahead and give them a pre-formatted thing to fill out. It so happens that this particular employee had said to her, hey, I have ADHD, so I flip from this to that to the other. That employee was very clear about what should be expected from them. They said, hey, I need an outlet for like all my random stuff. I also flip from this idea to this idea to this idea, and it would be really good if you talk to me in these ways. They were very clear about how it would be best to work with them. But because it didn't jive with my particular client and she didn't want to work like that, it caused friction. And so I said, well, you need to make your expectations clear as well and see how you can find a middle ground. Give them an avenue or an area where they can spew and let whatever they need to do, and then they admitted that they have short attention span. So sending them an email or 2 or 3 emails with the framework that you need for the report is not a bother. You are actually helping them. It looks like you have listened to their requests and their needs, and you are reacting to that. They were very straightforward with you with what they needed, so you need to be straightforward back. What are your needs? Because she was feeling overwhelmed and flustered and didn't want to be bothered with them. And that's not the way to lead and be a manager. So, as a thought, how upfront are you with your needs and requirements to work well and productively? And this can change over time because situations change and the work that you're doing might change. But it's really good to sit and think, how am I communicating my needs and wants, and how does that match what people are expecting of me? Because communication is key. If you do not set your expectations and requirements, people will be shocked, confused, angry, and all these other things. But if it's laid out clearly and talked about, then there can be very little room for error. I'm not going to say no room because, stuff happens and we are human. But setting people's expectations of how it's best to work with you goes a long way in stopping issues at work and at home. Thank you for listening. This is Janice at The Career Introvert, helping introverts build their brands and get hired. Have a great rest of your week.